The city of New York buzzed with the energy of an ordinary morning. The sounds of traffic and the murmur of the crowd intertwined in a chaotic symphony that was familiar to all New Yorkers. Yet, amidst this hustle and bustle, there was a quiet corner where Jake, a dedicated firefighter, cherished precious moments with his loyal Labrador retriever, Buster. Buster had a golden coat that shone in the sunlight, and his brown eyes were full of life and intelligence. Jake always believed there was something special about Buster, a natural instinct that made him not just a companion, but a true partner in their adventures. On weekends, they explored the city's parks, running together across the lawns and playing with other children and dogs. The laughter of children blended with Buster's joyful barks, creating a scene of happiness and freedom. Jake's routine was filled with challenges, but Buster's presence made everything more bearable. The two were inseparable, sharing a bond that grew stronger each day. In the afternoons, Jake trained Buster, teaching him to respond to commands and perform specific tasks. The Labrador was always eager to learn, his infectious energy motivating the firefighter to push himself further. Jake knew his job was demanding and often dangerous. The stories he heard from colleagues about thrilling rescues and the power of rescue dogs inspired him to include Buster in his professional life. The idea of training Buster to become a rescue dog began to take root in his mind. Together, they could make a difference in moments of crisis, saving lives and bringing comfort to victims. Thus, the days passed, filled with training sessions and walks. Jake and Buster not only became an unbeatable team, but also inseparable friends, living in perfect harmony. The outside world, with its uncertainties, seemed distant when they were together. For Jake, there was nothing more rewarding than the trust he felt when looking into his four-legged friend's eyes, knowing they were ready to face any challenge life presented. However, the city was about to undergo a drastic change. Events that would forever alter the history of New York were on the horizon, and with them, Jake and Buster's lives would be tested like never before. The peaceful routine and sunny mornings would soon give way to a dark reality that would demand all the courage and loyalty they had cultivated. Preparations were underway, but life continued its march, and the bond between Jake and Buster grew ever stronger. The adventures of a firefighter and his dog were just beginning, poised to intertwine in a fate neither of them could imagine. It was a bright and sunny morning in New York City when Jake and Buster's world changed forever. The sound of sirens and the city's murmur vibrated with contagious energy, but behind this facade of normalcy, something sinister was about to happen. As Jake prepared for another day of work, a feeling of unease began to settle in his chest. The phone rang at his home, interrupting the morning routine. When he answered, his boss's voice echoed on the other end of the line, laden with urgency. There was a fire in one of the buildings at the World Trade Center, and Jake needed to rush to the fire station. The words felt distant, almost unreal, but reality began to solidify as he quickly dressed, preparing for what lay ahead. Buster, sensing the tension in the air, stayed close to Jake, his eyes watchful and concerned. The firefighter patted the Labrador's head, feeling grateful for his loyal company. He knew that no matter what happened, Buster would be by his side, ready for any challenge. When they arrived at the station, the excitement was palpable. Colleagues were gathered, discussing the severity of the situation. Jake felt the weight of responsibility as he joined the team, and adrenaline began to pump through his veins. With a determined look, he braced himself to face whatever life had in store. As they reached the scene of the incident, the devastation was overwhelming. Flames danced on the upper floors of the building, and a black cloud of smoke hung in the air, obscuring the sky. The sound of sirens, screams, and the collapse of structures echoed like a grim lament over the city. Horror engulfed the place as Jake and his team plunged into the battle against the fire. The work was intense and exhausting. Jake used every ounce of strength and courage to rescue the people still trapped inside the building. Buster, Being the trained dog he was, sensed the need to help. He followed his partner, darting among the debris, using his keen sense of smell to locate survivors. As the hours passed, the situation deteriorated. The collapse of one of the buildings brought even more chaos and confusion. Jake froze for a moment, watching the clouds of dust rise like a sorrowful specter over the city. What had started as a sunny morning transformed into a scene of despair. As day turned to night, the team battled exhaustion and sorrow. The lives they couldn't save weighed heavily on their hearts. The sound of the siren, once so familiar, now felt like a dirge. Jake felt the pain of losing colleagues and friends who had answered the call. The weight of the tragedy became unbearable, and he wondered how he could go on. Buster, with his unwavering loyalty, became the emotional anchor Jake needed. The Labrador stayed close, providing comfort amid the pain. Looking into the eyes of his furry friend, Jake found a glimmer of hope. They were a team, and together they could face the darkness that loomed ahead. That night, as the city lights shone amid the devastation, Jake and Buster were together, watching what remained of a place that had once been full of life. The future seemed uncertain, but one thing was clear. New York City needed them more than ever. The bond between man and dog would grow even stronger as they prepared to face the next phase of a struggle that would change their lives forever. The days following the September 11th attacks were a blur of relentless work and despair. New York was in mourning, but the city also stood as a testament to strength and resilience. Jake and Buster became part of a collective rescue effort, joining firefighters, police officers, and volunteers from all corners. It was a call to duty that transcended all expectations. Jake recalled his training, all the hours spent in classes and simulations. Now reality surpassed everything. With renewed focus, he prepared for the task ahead, doing his best to keep morale high among his colleagues. Buster's presence became increasingly crucial. The Labrador had a natural talent for comforting those around him, and his vibrant energy provided temporary relief amid the sorrow. The rescue team was being formed and expanded. Dogs of various breeds were brought in to help, but Jake's bond with Buster was unique. The training they had undergone together now proved vital. Every command and every exercise they had practiced became an essential tool for the work ahead. Jake and Buster were assigned their first official rescue mission after the attacks. The scene was devastating, but the firefighter and his faithful companion were ready. Buster began to sniff around, using his instincts and skills to search for survivors. The Labrador moved confidently among the debris, his agile paws avoiding hidden dangers. Jake followed closely, his determination renewed by Buster's comforting presence. As they explored, Jake encountered other rescue teams, all sharing the same mission. The expressions of fatigue and sorrow were evident on every face, but there was also a glimmer of hope. Together, they were working to help those still alive, and the idea of making a difference drove each of them. Buster led Jake to a space where the scent of humans was stronger. With his heart racing, the firefighter knew they were close to finding someone. The tension hung in the air as he moved quickly, asking Buster to stay close. Together, they were becoming a united force, and hope was reborn. At the end of that exhausting day, Jake reflected on the impact Buster had on his life and the work they were doing together. The connection they shared was not just about friendship. It was a commitment to rescue lives, bring hope, and provide comfort in a time of pain. Once again, the firefighter felt grateful for the luck of having such a loyal partner by his side. The intensity of the work increased with each passing day. New York was shrouded in a mantle of sorrow and despair, but Jake and Buster were determined to be the light in the darkness. The call to duty led them to different locations, where each new mission became a life-and-death experience. The emotional weight became heavy, yet their determination never wavered. That morning, they were assigned to a new search area. The debris was still warm, and smoke lingered in the air, creating a surreal landscape. The smell of burnt material mixed with the aroma of the city was oppressive. But Jake took a deep breath, focusing on his role. Beside him, Buster was alert, his nose moving to catch the scents around them. Jake remembered every step of his training. The instructions echoed in his mind as he guided Buster. The Labrador was a tireless worker, moving through the wreckage, sniffing incessantly. Jake felt a mix of pride and concern. The responsibility weighed on him, but watching Buster in action was a constant reminder of what they were fighting to preserve. During one search, they encountered a narrow space leading to an area that seemed promising. Jake's heart raced as Buster moved with determination. After minutes that felt like an eternity, the Labrador began to dig, eager to find something. Buster's paws moved quickly, and the dog's rescue instincts were in full operation. Finally, the decisive moment arrived. A cry of relief echoed when Jake and Buster found a woman trapped beneath the rubble. With teamwork and the use of rescue equipment, they managed to bring the woman to safety. The joy on her face, though marked by pain, brought a new light to the dark day. For Jake, that moment was a powerful reminder of the impact they were having, a sign that all their efforts were worth it. Hours turned into days, and Jake and Buster continued their rescue operations. Each new mission brought unexpected challenges, but also moments of triumph. The bond between them strengthened with each rescue, with each life saved. Buster's determination inspired Jake, who fought against exhaustion and emotional pain. Survivor stories began to emerge, creating a spirit of hope amid the tragedy. Buster became an emblematic figure, and the rescue team recognized that the dog's presence was a stabilizing force. In every rescue, in every act of kindness, there was a new perspective on what it meant to be a hero. The work was far from easy, but Jake knew he and Buster were where they needed to be. With the courage that blossomed from the connection they shared, they were ready to face any challenge. The city of New York needed them, and they were determined not to fail. As the days turned into weeks, despair spread across New York like a shadow. Rescues were sporadic, and the reality of the tragedy began to settle in everyone's minds. The losses were irreparable, and collective mourning became a painful part of everyday life. However, there was a fervent determination among those dedicated to helping. Jake and Buster continued to work, but the emotional scars of the city ran deep. The streets, once vibrant with life, now seemed dim. The sound of sirens became a constant lament, a reminder of life's fragility. Each new day was a battle to keep hope alive, and the pressure weighed heavily on everyone. Amidst this melancholy, Jake felt that his mission had become even more significant. He and Buster were seen as symbols of resilience and courage. Wherever they went, people found comfort in the presence of the Labrador. The sad glances of New Yorkers brightened upon seeing Buster run, wagging his tail as if to say, "There is still hope." The dog became a true comfort for those who had lost loved ones. He walked among the people, receiving affection and pats, bringing a spark of joy in a moment of pain. Jake was surprised to realize how a simple gesture of love and compassion could alleviate the weight of grief. The connection humans felt with Buster was pure and intense. One afternoon, while walking through the devastated streets, Jake came across a woman who had lost her husband in the attacks. She was sitting on the ground, tears streaming down her face. Without hesitation, Buster approached her and rested his head on her leg. The woman, surprised by the dog's kindness, smiled through her tears. It was a small yet significant moment. The sadness was still present, but for an instant, the woman felt understood. As time passed, Jake realized that the rescue journey was not just about finding survivors, but also about healing the emotional wounds that the tragedy had caused. He and Buster were becoming a source of hope, a symbol that the city still had love and solidarity to offer. The two were a powerful combination, a reminder that even in dark times, light could be found. As night fell, Jake and Buster continued to patrol the streets, always attentive to the needs of the people around them. Whispers of gratitude and looks of relief became more frequent. The bond Jake and Buster shared was expanding to include those they encountered along the way. They served as a reminder that compassion and loyalty could prevail over pain. As they walked, Jake felt strengthened by a renewed determination to continue. Although the city was filled with sorrow, there was also a spirit of unity beginning to emerge.
Before we continue with this exciting story, make sure you are already subscribed to the channel and leave a like on this video to always stay up to date with new content.
The love for those who had been lost would not fade, but hope could blossom from the pain. Years passed, and the impact of Jake and Buster's work continued to ripple through the community. The foundation had grown beyond their wildest dreams, reaching people across the country. Jake felt an immense sense of pride as he reflected on the journey they had taken together. As a testament to their success, Jake was invited to speak at various conferences and events, sharing their story and the importance of mental health awareness. Buster remained his loyal sidekick, captivating audiences with his charm and unwavering support. The two of them became a beacon of hope for many, proving that love and resilience could flourish even in the aftermath of tragedy. One day, Jake received an unexpected phone call. It was from a family who had recently lost their father, a firefighter in the line of duty. They had heard about the foundation and wanted to know if they could meet Jake and Buster. Moved by their request, Jake agreed, understanding the importance of connection in the healing process. When they met, the family was overwhelmed with emotion. The widow shared stories of her husband's dedication to his job and the love he had for his children. Jake listened intently, his heart aching for their loss. Buster, sensing their pain, gently rested his head on the young son's lap, offering comfort without the need for words. The boy's small hand found its way to Buster's soft fur, and a moment of calm washed over the grieving family. In that moment, Jake realized the profound impact their work had on others. He understood that sharing their experiences could help heal wounds that ran deep. Together, they spent the afternoon reminiscing about the heroism and sacrifices of first responders, allowing the family to find solace in their shared stories. Jake shared tales of courage and resilience, emphasizing that their loved ones would always be remembered. As they parted ways, Jake promised to stay in touch and invited them to upcoming foundation events. He hoped they could find community and support in their shared journey of healing. Watching Buster interact with the children brought a smile to his face, reaffirming the bond that had been formed that day. The laughter of the children, mixed with their tears, created a melody of healing that echoed in Jake's heart. With each passing month, the foundation continued to expand its reach, providing resources, support, and therapy programs to first responders and their families. Jake and Buster were committed to ensuring that no one faced their struggles alone. They organized workshops, therapy sessions, and community gatherings, creating a safe space for individuals to share their stories and connect with one another. One day, as they were preparing for a fundraising event, Jake received a letter from a young girl named Emily. In her letter, she expressed her gratitude for the work they were doing and how it had inspired her to become a veterinarian. She mentioned that she wanted to help animals and people alike, just like Buster did. Jake was deeply touched by her words and decided to invite her to the event. When Emily arrived, her eyes sparkled with excitement as she met Buster. The two formed an instant connection, and Jake saw a glimpse of the next generation of compassion and empathy. As they shared their stories, Jake realized that the legacy of love they had built would continue through young hearts like Emily's. He felt a surge of hope as he watched her interact with Buster, who wagged his tail happily, sensing the bond they shared. As the event unfolded, the atmosphere was filled with laughter, joy, and a shared sense of purpose. People from all walks of life came together to support the foundation, celebrating the bonds forged through tragedy. Jake felt a sense of fulfillment wash over him as he watched Buster interact with the attendees, spreading love and healing wherever he went. Every hug, every smile, and every story shared was a testament to the power of community. In that moment, Jake understood that they were not just sharing a story. They were creating a movement. They were empowering others to embrace their vulnerabilities, share their struggles, and seek support. Together, they had built a community founded on love, compassion, and the unwavering belief that even in the face of adversity, hope would always shine through. The journey was far from over, and Jake felt a renewed determination to continue their mission, knowing that every small act of kindness could ripple outwards, creating waves of healing in the world. As the city was recovering, Jake and Buster realized that their missions were evolving. The focus was shifting from immediate rescues to long-term initiatives that would help heal the city. They began to get involved in animal-assisted therapy programs, offering comfort and support to people still dealing with trauma. On a sunny morning, Jake was invited to visit a local school. The students were eager to meet Buster and learn about the work rescue dogs did. The firefighter knew it was a valuable opportunity to inspire the next generation. With a smile on his face, he prepared to share the story of how Buster had become his partner. When they arrived at the school, Buster immediately became the star of the day. The children were fascinated, asking questions and petting the Labrador. Jake talked about the training and experiences they had together, emphasizing the importance of empathy and teamwork. He saw the spark of interest and inspiration in the children's eyes. After the presentation, Jake and Buster participated in a therapy session with the children. It was incredible to observe how Buster's presence helped the students open up and express their feelings. Interacting with the dog made them feel safe, and laughter began to replace tears. Jake realized the positive impact a rescue dog could have on someone dealing with grief. In one of the sessions, a girl named Emily stood out. She was shy and hesitant, but when Buster approached, her smile lit up her face. Jake was moved to see how the connection between them helped break down her barriers. Emily began to share her stories and fears, while Buster listened attentively, as if he knew exactly what she needed. Buster's interaction with the children became a source of hope and healing. Jake realized they were creating a space where children could express themselves, and Buster's presence was essential to that. The idea that they could help future generations cope with pain and suffering was a new purpose that Jake and Buster embraced with fervor. Days turned into weeks, and Jake and Buster became increasingly involved in therapy initiatives. Their visits to schools and hospitals brought new meaning to their work. The city's resilience manifested in how people came together to help one another. Jake saw the impact they were having on so many lives and felt honored to be a part of it. On a special day, they participated in a community event dedicated to raising funds for animal-assisted therapy programs. Jake and Buster were the highlights, and people gathered to celebrate the strength of the community. During the event, Jake shared his experiences and the importance of love and compassion. The response was overwhelming, and the positive energy was contagious. As he looked at the gathered crowd, Jake realized there was a new sense of purpose in his life. He and Buster were more than just firefighters and rescue dogs. They were becoming agents of change, bringing hope and comfort to everyone they encountered. The love they shared was expanding, reaching hearts and minds. The new mission they embraced brought not only joy, but also a profound sense of connection with the city and its community. Together, Jake and Buster were leaving a lasting mark, showing that even in times of pain, hope and compassion could prevail. As time went on, Jake and Buster became symbols of New York's recovery and resilience. The work they did in animal-assisted therapy initiatives had a visible impact on people's lives. Jake saw how each interaction helped heal emotional wounds, providing temporary relief from painful memories. With the city recovering, Jake decided it was time to do something special to honor Buster's legacy and the work they had done together. He began planning a celebration event where they could bring together all the people they had helped and those who had benefited from their efforts along the way. The idea was to create a space where stories of love and overcoming adversity could be shared, bringing the community even closer. The date of the event approached, and Jake was excited. He and Buster worked together to prepare the presentation. The Labrador was as eager as his human, looking forward to meeting the people who had benefited from their visits. Buster's presence always brought joy and hope, and Jake knew the positive energy of the event would be contagious. On the day of the event, the atmosphere was electric. The community gathered in a local park, where Jake and Buster were welcomed as heroes. People were animated, and Buster's smile became a symbol of joy for everyone. The program included presentations on resilience, live music, and, of course, special moments to interact with Buster. During the event, Jake had the opportunity to share his and Buster's story with everyone. He spoke about the challenges they faced, the lives they impacted, and the importance of never giving up. The love and loyalty he and Buster shared were the essence of what it meant to be human and make a difference. As Jake spoke, people came together, creating a support network. Stories of love, loss, and triumph were shared, and each narrative celebrated the strength of the community. Buster moved among the people, receiving pets and hugs, demonstrating how love could manifest in many ways. The climax of the event was a tribute to all those who had lost their lives in the September 11th attacks. Jake felt deeply moved as he listened to the stories of people who had faced pain and found strength in the community. It was a powerful reminder that resilience was rooted in the love and connection everyone shared. The event ended with a sense of renewal and hope. People left the park with smiles on their faces, and the community was more united than ever. Jake and Buster were more than just a firefighter and a rescue dog. They were symbols of love and hope, and their legacy would endure in the stories that were shared. Looking at Buster, Jake knew they were just getting started. The love they had for New York and the people they knew was an unshakable force. Together, they would continue to work, connect, and spread the message of compassion and resilience. The legacy of love they had created was just the beginning of something even greater. And so, as the city shimmered under the setting sun, Jake and Buster were ready to face the future, knowing that together they could tackle any challenge that came their way. Love would always prevail, and they were determined to be the light that guided people through times of darkness.
Thanks for watching until the end. What did you think of today's story? Leave your opinion in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Until next time.